Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King, and this is Boy.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Halfway twisted.
We're going to start off this week's programme once again with our CIT Marbella Guest of the Week. CIT Marbella is a business networking association and a very renowned one in Marbella. Very good contacts. They even get to send a member of their association every week to Marbella Now. And this week we're welcoming the lovely Dr. Ana Bernard, and she is the family doctor of the International Hospital HM Santa Elena, which is actually in Torremolinos. So we're really looking forward to learning more about hospitals that could be interesting as an alternative. Dr. Anna, welcome to the programme.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me here today. And yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the possibilities that this hospital has for, especially for foreign patients.
Well, it really is interesting because, especially here in our little nucleus of Marbella, the services are good, but they are limited. There is a lot of foreign people here.
Yes.
And we want to be understood in our own language. And I think knowing that there are other places that perhaps we can go to could be very interesting. Particularly, yes. I mean, having met yourself and a few more of the staff in the last few minutes, you all seem ever so normal and nice, not the pretentious.
Yes.
I think we have, particularly those foreigners who've lived here a long time, I think we associate the Spanish system with a little bit of reverence. And so you seem all very approachable.
Might be. I mean, not really approachable, you know, especially, we have like two types of foreigners here. So, as you mentioned, people that have been living here since long time, many years. And then we have those that come here for lovely holidays that they've been planning since many months. And unfortunately, as it's life and things like that happen, they arrive here finally, they bought their tickets, they planned the beautiful trip, and something like disease or emergency situation happens. So this is the situation, like when, especially, the feeling comfortable and being able to explain yourself in your own language matters.
You must have a big hospital, because I was looking briefly at some of the figures of the amount of international patients, for example, that you saw last year. It's amazing to think there are that many foreigners, that percentage was sick and had to go to in that area. It was quite astounding, really.
Yes, like having to account that I think that I checked numbers, and in 2023 we had like 14 million tourists that passed through Costa del Sol. So this number tells a lot, of course, and among those people there are people that are in need of seeking a medical help. So I think that especially, illness itself is very stressful, producing anxiety. There's a fear that we don't know where to go. We don't know if we're going to be understood in emergency or in a consultation. So I think that the most important thing is to create a support for the patient to be attended from the very beginning till the very end. And I think that this hospital has a team that works together and can help it out so that the patient feels safe and only can focus on, well, it's already enough to have illness. The holidays that have been interrupted by this health situation. So I think that it's already too much for him or for her. So we can, let's say, do everything around that can help survive this critical situation.
Survive's a good word. That's a good word, if we can survive. Tell us a little bit. You say it's a group. Can you tell us a little bit about the hospital in Torremolinos and the group that it belongs to, so we get an idea of what we're trusting in?
International department for international patients. It's called like that. And the base is in the hospital, International Hospital HM Santa Elena. So the team that my friend will tell a little bit more about that has many members that work from the very beginning for the patient. So all the administration, that I think is one of the things that scares us most when we are in a foreign country. One thing is that we don't know if we're going to be understood. So the possibility that the help is provided in many different languages. Of course, English probably is one of the most, but there are many different languages that we can fluently help with, and patient is attended in his own language as far as it's only possible, of course, and the administration is done by the team from the very beginning.
And there's a lot of paperwork in Spain.
A lot of paperwork.
So that helps. That's a big help.
A lot. That takes away that part of the stress. That
and what kind of things do you cover? So what if emergencies,
yes,
what type of specialities can we go there for?
Practically everything. So for
it's
example,
like
there's emergency situation.
Hospital.
Yes, there's emergency situation that happens at the airport, for example. If the patient, of course, knows where to call, then the team here that is responsible for receiving that call, starting the things with the insurance, of course, because that's very important. We don't know sometimes where to call. We don't know how to deal with the insurance thing. And exactly where to go, because the emergency situation as well, sometimes we need help and guidance. So when the patient is in emergency and later on the patient needs to have a checkup and see a specialist, we can organize that too. So
within the hospital?
Within the hospital. So we have a very wide range of specialists, from cardiologists till oncologists, depending what the patient needs. There are a variety of people.
Obstetricians and pediatricians
as well? As well, gynecologist, trauma, everything.
A real hospital?
A real hospital.
It's a real hospital?
It's a real hospital.
It's a real hospital.
With all the range of specialists, and as well all the tests and additional things that we have to do with the patients when the diagnosing process is started.
Do you have outpatients as well?
Yes. So, from the emergent situation, when this is solved, of course, and we have access to all the necessary, let's say, tests. So when there is a need to be seen by special, concrete specialists, this is organized as well. So a patient doesn't have to wait a long time. That is what sometimes scares us a lot, that we need to go on a waiting list. Now there's a holiday. So sometimes the whole process can be dealt during the short holiday, and maybe even it's short enough to let the patient, the tourist, to keep enjoying the holidays.
Are most of the patients, the international patients at the hospital, from tourism? I mean, Marbella has a very large resident international community. Is Torremolinos the same?
I think that the numbers, my friend, I think, will explain a little bit more the numbers, but I think
putting a lot of responsibility on old Daphne there, going to fill in the blanks.
Yes,
hope she's checking her notes.
No, I think that we have both groups, but tourists, of course, it's a large group. And I think that, this is something that it's very useful for them, because especially if you live here, we have residents as well, of course, that can and use our help. But especially in the situation when you're here for holidays, for a few weeks, a few days, and something like this very serious happens, or not even, but you need a medical help. So the importance is that we, let's say, can take over this unnecessary stress, deal with administration, lead the patient where he needs to go, and all the bureaucratic thing, just leave it away.
Where are you located in Torremolinos?
We are located in the area of Los Alamos. So it's that at the very beginning of the entrance of Torremolinos.
Can you park there?
You can park there.
Okay, but if not, it's just to know.
I'm not good at parking.
Okay,
and
if not, we can just to let people know whereabouts they would park, because I think a lot of times
and it's very close.
That's a panic for people.
One thing is that it's very close to the airport. It's not far away from Malaga, so you can use your car, or you can get by any kind of, let's say, the transport. It's the Uber. Everything is close by. There is a train station that is probably maybe not even 5 minutes walking.
Perfect.
So I think the where it's located is brilliant. So it's easy access.
That's very important.
It's very important.
Where are you from yourself?
I'm from Poland.
Very cool. And now the family doctor.
And I'm a family doctor in St. Helena since around 1 year already. So, good thing is that, and most of my friends as well, we can attend in English, but of course, if there are Polish patients as well, and Spanish. So they are very much welcome.
That's wonderful. It's nice to know, because I've never heard of this place. I know we stay in our own little bubbles here, but particularly
Sometimes
when it comes to health, knowing that there are alternative places just down the road could be very interesting.
Could be very interesting. And I think that apart from, all the stress that is It comes with the fact that when we get ill, administration and all the bureaucracy that might be really difficult, to be attended in your own language. Or
It's
even
all
the
the
language
difference.
it makes all the difference.
Well, Dr.
Because,
Anna, absolutely delighted to make your acquaintance.
Thank you so
and,
much.
maybe one day we'll show up there at the hospital to
Very
give
much
everyone
welcome.
like a
Very much
behind-the-scenes view. Thank you so much. And now
Thank
let's
you.
Bring on Daphne, one of the nurses and the team. Thank you.
Hey, hey.
I'm delighted to welcome on the set a young lady whose name is Daphne. And I had no idea that I was going to know this guest, but I have met her before, albeit only online via Zoom. Because during lockdown, Ali Mihan put me in contact with Daphne, as through the programme we were keeping people connected through doing the programme from my home via Zoom. And Seroptimist was one of the associations that I needed to speak to. So Daphne, so nice to meet you in person. What a lovely surprise.
Yes, because I was just looking at my WhatsApp and I thought, when was it? But it was actually in the middle of April 2020. So when we were all
at home, and I
couldn't
remember
get out, yeah.
we were locked down like on the Monday. I recorded my program normally on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Between Ali and a few other people, I was connected to Zoom,
Yeah.
and then we
Yes,
met. Before
yes.
we start talking about your role with the International Hospital HM Santa Elena,
Yes.
I got that right.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a whole mouthful.
Just a moment, just let's have a quick comment about Seroptimist, because it's an amazing association.
Yes, it's a worldwide women's association. We have only a small group, 25 women working here from Mijas actually, and we have various different projects we're working on. We're still helping the food bank. We are working also on a project helping business women who have lost their businesses during the Dana. So we went to on a visit to Valencia mid-January. Dreadful what has happened there. It's so amazing how people have lost everything, and it's good that we as professional women can help other women. So we have done a fundraiser just yesterday, a jazz concert with Janet Powell. Maybe you have heard about her. And we were preparing a leadership academy for women, which will take place in Mijas in November this year.
Wow, congratulations and thank you.
Yeah.
And apart from all that, you're also a nurse
Yes.
at the International Hospital HM Santa Elena in Torremolinos.
Yeah, fantastic.
Tell us more. It's funny because it's a lot of words. It's not difficult,
Yes.
but there are lots of different words. And it's nice to find out about new hospitals. How did you get involved with
Yes,
Santa
well,
Elena?
I've known Santa Elena actually always. Where the HM was added, but the hospital has been existing since the 70s. But it's really nice because you see also that at the hospital now, it's also part of the group. You get a different vibe. I think also they're very well connected with also the hospitals in Malaga. We also work together with Ochoa here and in Marbella. So I think the connection is also of benefit to the patients, because they sometimes come and they say, oh, I've got pain in my belly, and you never know what comes out. And you need good specialists. You need the possibility to make a test right away to find out, what is causing the problem. We have, of course, the surgeon 24/7, the urologist. We have all the specialists who are also on duty to assist the doctors at the emergency department and make sure that we reach a diagnosis as soon as possible. Yeah.
What are the most common reasons that people show up at the emergency ward? Because I imagine there must be some silly reasons as well that could be avoided. Perhaps you can give us a couple of tips.
Yes. Well, there can be a lot of different things. I think also that people fall down and break something is, of course, a very common problem. And then we have our orthopedic specialists standing there to prepare whatever is happening. The abdominal pain can be anything. Also, people when they have a pain on the chest, especially sometimes younger people when they have been partying a bit too wild, they have a very fast heart rate and they think they're going to die. and often they're not. They're just the reaction of
Good
the
thing
body.
that at least they come and see you, though.
Exactly.
Which is important. I mean, don't just
Yep.
feel that, like, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. Get yourself help.
Exactly, because
Yes.
that's what we're for. And I think it's better to just check and find out it's nothing than the other way around. That people, they think, well, it can wait, it's not. No, if you have problems, if you have a very fast heart rate, it's always good to check it out and to not postpone. Yes.
I imagine it's a private hospital, that when people stay in, one of the big fears and one of the big concerns as you get, if you don't have family in Spain, is that the Spanish medical system relies very heavily on the family to feed you, look after you if there's no one around. In the HM Santa Elena, I imagine if you're catering to foreign people, you're aware that a lot of people don't have that help. Do you
Yes,
cover
yes,
that? Because it can
yeah.
be quite worrying for people.
Yes, and I think also that worry, it exists, but we're not, it's Spain. I think healthcare in Spain is, comparing it even from Holland, where I'm from, I'm thinking the fast diagnosis, they can learn something there as well. People are always, when somebody has a problem, they can call we have a special number they can call, we send an ambulance, they are going to be checked out in the emergency department. That all goes quite fast. Family in the hospital, we have quite big rooms, because it's important for us that the people have an individual room, that they're not sharing
That's
with
important.
another
That's
patient
nice.
and their whole family, because it's not just the patient. So the rooms are all individual rooms. There's a bed, a sofa bed or a hospital bed for the family member who wants to stay. We even provide some food for the family who stays. If there's nobody coming in, we have also our team of auxiliary nurses. They make their rounds, they help people, also prepare them, help them with the food. It's not an issue anymore. It's not an issue
Perfect.
the way it was.
Because I know that one is a big concern. And I was recently just accompanying a friend in hospital, and it was a public Spanish hospital, which isn't the same thing, but it's nice to just address the issues that I know are of the most concern. Well, that'd be very reassuring to know that you're also involved with the International Hospital, HM Santa Elena in Torremolinos, so we've got good touching base there.
And then when you are there in the morning, I always work from Monday to Friday. I would always come in and say, hello, how are you? My name is Daphne from the international team. I always make my round. I make the rounds with the doctors. Because we have, of course, patients who speak. We have a lot of Dutch-speaking patients also. They come from Marbella, they come from Torremolinos, they're everywhere. So most of my colleagues, they speak at least 3 or 4 languages.
That's
French,
fabulous.
German, Dutch, of course, English. So
very
it's
reassuring.
Yeah.
And as I say, we get very congested here in medical services, so you've got another alternative. And Daphne and Dr. Anna and the team ready and willing to welcome you. Thank you so much, Daphne. Lovely to see you again.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And this time in person.
Yes, that's so much better than only via the screen. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Zero Heroes, welcome to Urban Chai.
Zero Heroes, welcome to Gusto e Fantasia.
It's lovely when we're out and about that we get to meet new people. And my next guest comes through knowing people who know people who know people. I was at the AIM Sanctuary charity walk on Valentine's Day, and I was chatting with the lovely Anastasia when we finished the walk, and she's a rapid transformational coach, and she introduced me to my next guest. Her name is Catherine, and guess what? She's a rapid transformational coach too. Lovely to welcome you to the programme.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It was nice to bump into you at the walk. Wasn't that fun? The park is beautiful.
Yeah. And so many beautiful dogs and,
yes.
and people. It was really nice.
It really was. Now, Gwelys Park is what we're talking about in case that you didn't see last week's programme. Maybe it was even the week before now. The weeks go by so quickly. How long have you been on the coast?
3.5 years.
Well, quite a while. Did you
yeah.
arrive as a transformational coach?
No, I was working in corporate, in consulting, in IT.
Wow, completely different.
Very different.
So you had enough of that and you needed rapid transformation.
Rapidly transform myself. So I loved it as a career. Did it for over 20 years, but it didn't fill my heart. So I wanted something that filled my heart, and I had my own transformational health journey through RTT, so that drove me to want to share that.
RTT is rapid
transformational therapy.
Right, we use people who are in the know, and you use all these initials. Yes. It means nothing.
Rapid transformational therapy.
So what does that involve? What is it? What is the objective, and what's the process?
So it's a combination of neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavioural therapy.
Okay, let's just stop there. Let's start with the first one. For the layman, the person who doesn't know, what is the neuro...
So in the simple terms for neurolinguistic programming and cognitive behavioural therapy is the way that our thoughts shape us and shape who we are and shape our inner workings within our subconscious, really. And then you add in hypnotherapy. So in hypnosis, you close off the conscious mind, that critical kind of mind that's always working. And you can access the archives, if you think of it that way, of your mind. So your subconscious mind is there 24/7, filming everything that happens. Just puts it away in the little archives and you don't need to think about it. And then as you grow and you age, you form beliefs and behaviours and thoughts that can manifest into anxiety, depression, physical conditions, addictions. And there's a root cause sitting below the surface of why you behave and think and feel that way. And within hypnosis, we can get the client to go back to the root cause of the issue that they're trying to work out and deal with and move on from. So it was created by Marissa Peer, and it was to challenge talk therapy.
I actually like and watched Marissa Peer quite a lot.
Yes, I trained with her.
At one stage, and I found her. I've had I am enough written in lipstick on every single mirror in the house.
So many problems come from not feeling enough. And many people, through things that happen to them through their childhood, either school, parents, if they haven't had that blessed childhood of growing up with love and care and time, then they can feel not enough. And that's the root cause of many issues that adults suffer with today. So Marissa Peer was a talk therapist for many years, and she saw clients keep coming back and talking about the pain that they're going through, the suffering. And for her, she said that it didn't make sense, because if you go to A&E with pain, accident and emergency with pain, or to the dentist, you want them to fix what's causing the pain, and then you can move on with your life. So she created rapid transformational therapy using tools that already exist, the 3 tools that I mentioned, which is the cognitive behavioural therapy, neurolinguistic programming, and hypnosis. With the idea that in one session, maximum ever 3, you resolve the issue. So I'm even talking, I've worked with clients with addictions that have resolved it in that one RTT session, because they've got to the root cause of it. You reframe the root cause, the belief and the feeling that they got in those moments that is causing that behaviour. The way I quite like to describe it is, if you think about yourself as a boat on the surface of the water, and you've got beliefs which are all the anchors below the water in the sand, and you're trying to move forward from them and you can't, and you don't understand why, you keep procrastinating, why you keep feeling depressed. And it's these anchors below the surface, but you don't know that they're there. And in RTT, we help you identify those, reframe it so you pull up the anchors, and then you can move forward with it. So in a session, they're in hypnosis, and you work with them to identify that root cause. Then a lot of the therapy happens after the session, and that's listening to a hypnosis recording of how they want to think, feel, and be going forward. So the mind learns by repetition. And as you repeat things to your mind, I'm useless, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, all of those things create how you think, feel and be. So in the hypnosis recording is all the client's words of how they want to wake up feeling, the things they want to do on a daily basis, and how they would live their life if they no longer have the issue. So that's what they listen to for 21 days, and then that rewires through neuroplasticity how the mind works.
So that is like the same for everybody after that, to repeat certain, I suppose, phrases and attitudes to stick it in?
Yes.
Or is it also tailored to each person?
It's tailored to every person. So what is a day without anxiety for me compared to you if we both suffered with it looks very different. The words that you would use to describe it, how you would feel, the things you would be doing are different. So we need to excite the mind to change. So it's your words. I put your words into the hypnosis, and then that's, because your mind's already thought of it, it's excited to move towards it. And it's familiar to it, if that makes sense.
It was funny because before, not funny, but you mentioned before addictions.
Yeah.
So addictions, therefore, normally one would suppose then come from some root cause of feeling of inadequacy or some trauma
Coping
you don't want to face.
A lot of the time it's coping mechanism from childhood, and it's not necessarily a coping mechanism that if the same situation happened to you as an adult with the brain of an adult, that you would create within you, but you're basing the beliefs that you create on that child of that 7-year-old, that 10-year-old, that 13-year-old, and as an adult you wouldn't act that same way. You think differently. Do you have your practice in a clinic? Do you do it from home? Do you go to people's homes? Mostly online. I've seen a couple of people in their own home, kind of face-to-face if they wanted to, but mostly it's done online. And the beauty of that is the client's in the comfort of their own home. And afterwards they can feel quite tired because it's rapid, it's quite intense therapy. So they can feel quite tired and emotional afterwards because there's a big release of emotions, and they kind of make a different understanding of their past and why they have shaped a feeling or a thought in a certain way. Because sometimes it can be something they don't even remember. So my own RTT, I didn't remember the memory that came up. And I've had clients that have gone back to scenes as a newborn baby. And it's not even necessarily traumatic as such. It's just a belief you form from something that happened or was said. And that's it. It's not that people have gone through abusive childhoods all the time or things like that. Could just be you weren't heard or you weren't picked for the school team, or who knows. Yeah. I had, for myself, it was my mum. I loved my mum. We were like best friends. And at 2 years old, I wanted to cry. I was sad. And she said to me, "Don't cry, Catherine," because she was such an empath. It hurt her to see me upset. And she cuddled me and said, "Don't cry." And she always said it to me as an adult. And I never thought about it. I didn't remember that memory, but I was always this really happy, positive, maybe overly positive person. So even when there was something really bad happening in my life, I would be like, well, it's okay, because we can do this or we can move on to this. But subconsciously, I was suppressing the negative emotions. See, for me, I prefer the other. I go through it, all the pain. I just rather I've got a good grip on things and be happy. It's just if you don't have a good grip, then perhaps. But I think if you're happy, leave sleeping dogs. Personally. But it's there, and it can manifest in the body. So Marissa Peer talks about the things that you don't weep from your eyes will weep from other organs. So for me, the root cause of the endometriosis was this scene. What's endometriosis? Endometriosis is where it's a female condition. It's quite common. It's a debilitating condition where parts of your uterus and the tissue like your uterus grows on other organs. So I was hospitalised, people have surgery for it, I was on prescription painkillers every month. For women, it's getting more and more widespread. Some women can't get pregnant because of it and things like that. So Marissa Peer was also from her stress and anxiety, and they told her she couldn't have a baby and all kinds of things. Yeah, and she really resolved that with RTT. And the nice thing is, because you came out the other side and you're still back to that positive, happy person, but without the underlying illnesses caused by that just keeping it all in. And they do say the disease is because you are at dis-ease in the body, and that's so true. And I think, and it's not about being kind of something bad happening and being negative about it, but it's just, I wasn't even acknowledging it. It was almost like, oh, there's a shiny, sparkly thing over here. Let's not think about it. Let's just move on. Whereas it's just acknowledge, process it, release it, and then move on from it.
Absolutely fabulous. Well, I'm going to make my appointment for RTT and get things moved on and get those anchors hoisted.
Yep.
Really lovely to meet you. It's a fascinating
Thank you.
topic.
Yeah, it's so powerful, and I think that's what drives me is the transformation that I see in clients. Like 80% of clients get results from one session. So for me, I wouldn't get satisfaction from keep talking about the issue the client has. The satisfaction I get is to see the change and people messaging me within 4 weeks saying, you've transformed my life, and that's what I love.
It's fabulous, and I think being able to do the sessions as well from home for many people makes them feel perhaps more safe, more comfortable. You're in your own surroundings as you're opening yourself up to the lovely Catherine here, sharing your woes or your wills and won'ts.
I make it very comfortable.
I'm sure you do. And lovely, thank you very much to Anastasia as well for introducing you and recommending you a real hashtag Better Together. They both do the same thing, but there are enough people for everyone. And bless you, Anastasia, for being generous with your introductions.
I know, I was very happy, and we were so happy when we met each other because there's lots of therapists across the world that do RTT, but I didn't know anyone locally, and neither did she, so we can share kind of how we're developing our businesses, clients that we've seen, what things we did with them and stuff like that.
Events together and help us all know that RTT, which is rapid transformational therapy. Yes, we know a little bit more about it because I think sometimes these things you just have to hear them once or twice because with Anastasia too it was just super interesting, and you can see that you girls care and that you believe that you have this ability of how to get through the issues.
Well, it's really, I just see myself as a facilitator because it's you and your mind that has the power. It's not me. I'm just there guiding you on how to use, really, this is the most powerful tool in the world, and we are not taught at school how to use it to the best of our ability and for the things that we should use it for. Yes, there's maths and things like that, but actually it's a really powerful healing tool, and that's why the placebo effect and things is so powerful.
That's also
and
what
that's
we believe.
all of the mind.
What we believe in is a lot of it, and I believe in you. As I say, found Marissa Peer very helpful for myself a few years ago, and so nice to know that you studied under her guidance.
I trained in person with her.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
my God, let me touch you. She touched Marissa Peer. Thank you, Marissa. And Catherine, congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Linear Director has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineardirector.com.
Zero Hero, welcome to Belmonte. Hey, it's a brand new...
Linear Director appreciates just how important our pets are to us, and that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineardirector.com. I'm delighted to welcome back to the programme Dr. Beren Parry. She is delightful and a speaker at International Women's Day this year, taking place in Mijas, of all places. Lovely to see you again, Doctor.
Thank you. Lovely to see you too, Nicole.
And thank you so much for your help when I called you with my friend whose mother was sick at home, searching for oxygen, something that isn't available to take home to your house. So we learned a lot.
We did.
Through those conversations.
Yes.
And actually, I would just mention now that through that and all the other things that have been going on with elderly people at home, no one to look after them, we will be celebrating this year's United Nationalities of Marbella Summit on Tuesday, the 20th of May. And the topic is that, how to look after people at home when they're elderly or unwell, and where to get help and support.
Fantastic.
Yes, we're summing it up, and that is what needs summing up this year. And now let's get to International Women's Day, just around the corner, speaking at the Costa Women event, which is lovely, and you've got so many interesting things to share. What are you going to be talking about at the event?
I'm going to be talking about hormonal balance for women in business.
Okay.
A very wide subject.
Definitely, a lot of women in business, and you have to carry on regardless.
Exactly.
Regardless.
Yes.
What are the typical things that we go through when we get to a certain age, and why?
You know, it all starts to happen after we have a baby, if we just choose to do so. And what happens is you go through postnatal hormones. You actually go through adolescent hormones. But let's get to the adult part, postnatal. Then you have what I call premenopause. So that's age 35 onwards, where the hormones start to change. And then when you get to 45, more or less, you enter perimenopause. Perimenopause goes from 45 to 55, and then you have 2 years of menopause, but then you have postmenopause. And the biggest misconception is that postmenopause ends very quickly. It doesn't. It continues for life.
I mean, I don't get many hot flushes now, very, very rarely. But when you get one, you know what it is. It's like a heating up of the inside of the body that is incomparable to anything. But it surprised me that when my daughter was pregnant, she said she was cooking from the inside out, and I was quite satisfied, actually. Now you know how it feels. But I didn't know you could also get that during pregnancy. So I lucked out that I didn't have that as well.
Yes, you know, estrogen and progesterone do strange things. They can really influence so many metabolics in our body, and it can happen at any time. So the right thing to do is always get a proper diagnostic, because if something like that happens, you want to find out why. And the why is the most important thing, because when you find out why, then you can treat it properly.
But you can actually treat menopause. I know that ever since I was a little girl, you hear about all these pills and tablets, but I never trusted them. It always just seemed like, again, more medications for something that you're going to go through for a long time, and I never wanted to go down that route. But you deal in natural medicine, so that kind of sounds a little bit more appealing.
Exactly. So conventional hormone replacement therapy, it does involve taking pills, which involves metabolics in the liver, which is not a good thing. When you go with bioidentical hormone gels, it's completely different, because these are much more compatible hormones, and they are transdermal, so you don't have to have your liver involved in the metabolics of the whole thing.
Well, it seems to make more sense. The just filling up on chemicals is, I find, very disturbing, because we seem to be turning to that route more and more often, when I'm sure that the natural remedies are equally as efficient, although maybe not as lucrative for the laboratories.
Well, this is the thing. You have Big Pharma, and they have their medicines and need to market them. When you go with natural medicines, and when you go with functional medicine, which is more about what I practice, we do the diagnostic first, and then we're sure about which natural medicine to take. It's not a guessing game.
So it's not just taking medication, as I understand it. You said there are functional aspects. For example, I suppose the diet and those type of things. What kind of habits should we adapt?
So it's called lifestyle medicine. So lifestyle medicine is becoming the medicine of the future. So it's about the nutrition, what we're eating, how much we're moving, the movement, and the natural medicine. So those three together are really about changing your lifestyle and transforming your health that way.
Wonderful. You've written lots of books about all this, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Tell us a bit about your literary side to your persona, because it's amazing with all the things that you do that you find time to actually get all these books out.
Yes, I think the one that is really relevant right now is the one called Ageless Metabolic Cure, and I was very fortunate to have this book as a bestseller for 6 months on Amazon.
Wow.
And because of that book, we've created a whole movement around ageless metabolics. And that's about hormone rebalancing for females as well as males, because hormones are kind of the key that unlocks the door to your health. So I think that hormones are also going to be more relevant in the future as we look for different ways to recover our health and not necessarily taking chemical medicine.
And the metabolics, so it's just our metabolism.
Yes, yes. So anything to do with the way in which the body processes is really metabolism or metabolics. So that processing of the body can be in any way. It can be processing of nutrients, processing of hormones. It really has to do with the actual movement and the metabolics of the system.
What kind of tests do you do when people come for menopause? Or maybe they come for issues that don't even realise are related to menopause.
Well, we always start off with a very in-depth blood test, often much more in-depth than normal, and look at many different markers. And then, but the blood test is like a photograph of your health at a particular moment. And then it's like a photograph, that's it. things change. However, if you do a DNA test, that looks at every cell in your body. And that test only ever has to be done once, but it tells you your health throughout your entire life. Looks at prevalence of certain particular weakness areas, could be detoxification pathways, that could be a problem, could be methylation, the way in which your energy works in your body, it could be food intolerance, it could be anything, and then we know for the future how we need to treat you based on those results.
So you can tell intolerances also through the DNA. You don't need to do like the allergy tests as well.
Yeah, you can do it through the DNA now.
That is fascinating.
Yes, and many other things. Mental health can be checked through the DNA. Weight problems can be checked. Skin problems, many things.
That is fascinating. It's scary as well, though, that you could know so much about somebody just from their DNA. Then I know you can't generalise because, as you say, everybody is different and we all react differently to similar things. But are there any generalities of men and women who feel that they're in that change of life, of advice of things to perhaps things to start doing, things to stop doing?
Well, as we age, and I'm doing a lot of longevity medicine now, as we age, what happens is our cells degenerate. So it's inevitable that we need to take better care. So on the diet side, I would advise anti-inflammatory eating. That means that whatever you eat, make sure it contributes to reducing the inflammation in the body. So lots of protein, lots of vegetables, nuts and seeds are great. Be careful of sweet fruits, be careful of all sugars.
So even natural sugars in sweet fruits?
You have to be careful of those, as you get older, because your insulin doesn't behave as well as it should, you see. And then when you have any form of glucose, even honey, your insulin can react and you can get insulin resistance or even hidden insulin resistance, and you don't feel well and you don't know why, but it's that. And then moving the body. As we get older, it's important to move more, work out, get those muscles moving, those joints moving, even if it's a walk for 20 minutes. It's a great thing to do. And then on the natural medicine side, make sure that you're taking your vitamins, your minerals. Minerals are really important. And then get the right advice about the herbal remedies and the hormonal, the
So you're saying like to
hormones.
supplement with different minerals and different herbal complements?
That's right, but don't try and second guess, because that won't help. Rather get the advice of a professional.
It definitely makes sense. And also, as you say, this longevity, this movement for everybody wanting to live longer, be healthier for longer, and look better for longer. So obviously this is things that we can address. There are things we can do, because the body just changes so much from that day of having that thick elastic skin, and then one day it feels like crepe paper. I mean, it catches you by surprise. If there are things that you can do to help, then I think it's well worth getting more information.
Well, this is another thing. Collagen is so important. So talking about skin for everybody, as our skin ages, we need more collagen. So collagen powders, collagen tablets, good quality collagen, which means that you're going to go with peptides, collagen peptides from marine sources. That's really the best. So go with a good quality and you can't go wrong. Then your skin will improve.
And obviously you can contact Dr. Beran for detailed, personalised information. You visit several different clinics and hospitals helping out your patients from Gibraltar to here in Marbella. Give us a rundown of how we can get hold of you.
Yes, so my main office is in Gibraltar. I'm head of the natural medicine clinic there in the area of functional medicine. And then I also am guest consulting at several clinics along the coast. So people can reach me via my website. That's probably the easiest way, drberanparry.com. And then we can see what works best. I also work online, so I do a lot of international work.
It's actually quite interesting to see, because our guest before, Catherine, who's a rapid transformation therapist, and she was also saying about how many patients that she handles online. And then another one of our guests, Daphne for some Raptors, I interviewed her online during lockdown, and it really made the world a lot more accessible, hasn't it? Being able to help people without, people have accepted more that even though I can't touch you, that it doesn't mean you can't have a very personalised session with somebody or conversation. It's really opened up the world immensely.
Absolutely, because you can go for a blood test locally wherever you live. We send all the other tests, the DNA tests, everything. All those tests can be sent via the mail. And then we do everything online on Zoom. So I have patients in Scandinavia, in America, Australia, South Africa, so it works really well.
It definitely does work well. And look at that, and that wonderful smile to go with it. Lovely to see you again. Thank you very much. And if I don't see you before, I will see you at International Women's Day, hosted by Costa Women this year in conjunction up there in the town hall with Mikas.
Fantastic.
So it's going to be lots of fun, and Dr. Beran will be speaking there as well, and you'll be able to ask her questions and find out more.
Absolutely.
And visit Amazon to buy those books.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, hey.
Los kilos, ¿no? Ok. Eso por ahí. Este por aquí, a ver si sale bien. No, por ahí. Vale, un poquito por ahí. Apple. Y un poquito de agua. ¿Verdad? Ting, ting, ting. Batimos. Very good. La manzanita.
Thank you.
A la primera, ¿no?
Mocktail.
Listo.
When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linear Director. When you most need your insurance company, Linear Director are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linear Director really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online.
Zero Hero, welcome to the sister restaurant.
Zero Hero, welcome to Sunday.
I'm delighted to welcome back to the programme my guide Marbella, aka Johnny Gates Photography, also known as just Johnny Gates. Good afternoon, Johnny. How are you?
I'm all right.
Nice to see you again. Actually, I've been seeing you a lot lately, not just on the
Steady.
programme. Yes, get everyone talking. You know how quickly a rumour runs around this city.
What Marbella's like.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, there could be worse rumours.
Yeah.
I enjoy bumping into.
There are worse rumours.
I bumped into you the last time, I think, was with the press lunch for La Fonda. Is that right?
It was in La Fonda in the Old Town.
It was. I haven't been in there for like 20 years.
Well,
and
I have been there, to be fair, because they're clients. But I used to eat there in the late 80s. Back in the day.
But that's basically some 20, 40 years.
Yeah.
I used to go to La Fonda back in the day when it was like the original. Now it's been taken over, rebuilt and revamped completely.
Reformed, yeah. It's not the same. I mean, before it was full of Louis XIV furniture. I remember going in there once with Michael Caine, Deborah Carr, Lou Grade.
Wow.
That was in that was about 91, so just before it closed, actually, yeah.
I mean, you've been here over 40 years.
I've been here far too long.
But, I mean, like, in the thick of it, you had really popular restaurants in the Old Town.
Well, there still are, but the Old Town's changed so much now because it has definitely got a bit gentrified, I'm afraid.
But you were the photographer of the jet set, undeniably.
Yes.
I mean,
but
when I
moved
moved down here 12 years ago, and it was, oh yes, I mean, everywhere it was like Johnny, take a picture of me.
Yeah.
I was like all the divas.
It's not the same anymore because it's all full of Instagrammers and 1,000 kids running around with Sonys and all.
It's a new world.
Funny if the Instagrammers actually have their own photographers. It's quite amazing. It's how much changed.
But we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
There is a new breed now, the young
new breed.
influencer. There's nothing we can do.
No.
They're here and they're here to stay. And
I don't know who they influence, but
they have their people that they influence.
Yeah.
It's just a different world, Johnny. There are youngsters now, and we're getting older.
And you wonder
we
why
have a
I'm-
different
and you wonder why
demographic.
you wonder why I'm a grumpy old git.
You have to adapt and grow, darling. We
I
all
have.
have to adapt and grow to keep relevant.
Yeah, no, you do.
Not easy, though.
You do.
It's not easy, but we do. We just have to change with the times. But my guide is very much up on the times. I mean, it's like with Zero Heroes, a good food guide.
Yeah.
You know where to go. You know the places are solid.
Well, my guide is nuts and bolts. Where to go, book. You know, it's got a booking system. There's images, video. You know, you see what you get. It's
a good guide to Marbella.
It's a travel guide.
Yeah, it's a good guide for Marbella.
We don't
named appropriately.
We don't say this is good, this is bad. We just, you know, we so if you're sitting in Sheffield in a damp office, whatever, you've booked your holiday to Spain, you can go, right, oh, I'll be there 2 weeks in June. Oh, that looks nice, and book up your tables, even when you're abroad.
Well,
And
makes it very
that's what
comfortable.
it's for, yeah.
That makes it very convenient.
Yeah, no, you
and of
can
course you're all
pre-book.
over the place.
Yeah.
So I mean, like if you want to be in the know, Johnny knows.
I'm all over the place. I don't, well, not as I used to be, but yeah.
But you do a lot more now, as opposed to the glitzy glamour photo sessions. You're very much into. You do photographs for real estate. May not be your first passion, but you do very nice interior photographs for interior design.
I still work for certain magazines, you know, Home and Lifestyle. I do the interior, some of the interior stuff like that. I do the real estate because it pays the rent.
Yes, and you take nice pictures of food as well.
I do.
You do. You're a very good food
and I eat
photographer.
it.
Yes, but it's funny because it's actually, you don't realise how difficult it is to take a good picture of what, for example, we had that was quite delicious, the rice pudding at La Fonda, but not very photogenic.
It was all a bit brown and cream.
It was all a bit brown and cream. So even though it tastes good, you have to have the gift to make it look appetising on a photograph.
That's all about lighting and angles. Lighting and angles. It's a bit like photographing me, really. It's all about lighting and angles.
Depends on the lighting.
Yeah.
You're always in good light with me. So where else have we been? We bumped into a bunch of things. I know we were at Marie Noel's event with La Fonda, which is nice. The restaurant there is very Spanish Mediterranean cuisine, I would have to say, from the menu. Delicious, but a more traditional, a lot of game.
I thought I thought it was quite northern Spanish, some of it. You know, there was a lot of wild boar going on. Ciervo, I mean, there was their venison, and I thought it was quite a wintry menu, to be fair.
Well, it was their winter menu.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I think you need to be more of a foodie. I know that Stephanie from Talk Radio, for example, I mean, she loves all that. She's, I would say, a foodie because she eats.
Stephanie and I have eaten in almost every restaurant.
But I'm more traditional. I mean, I like a different food. But
I'm surprised that they didn't put out more of their spring menu. Because I thought that was the kind of menu that you might put out if you got the press round for November.
Well, maybe we'll be lucky we'll come back, they'll invite us back for the spring menu. We will mention it.
What are you, Marie Noel?
We'd like to taste the spring menu. But really, really delicious. I would say traditional Spanish cuisine, although it's got like a Mediterranean flair. And then what I really like, which is more my style, I like to eat picky things, was they got a nice little Fonda tapas bar in the same square.
Yeah, which I haven't been to yet. It's next to Anna Maria's.
We definitely need to go, but really, because that's where you get then the typical little Spanish tapas and the dishes. So one's perfect for dining and wining, great wines, lovely staff. It really was nice, beautifully
decorated. Well, that's one of the nice things about the old town. It's just nipping around the tapas bars, estrecho, etc., and going and having, you know...
Do a tapa crawl.
Yeah, doing a tapa crawl, basically.
We should do one of those for the show and go around do a tapa crawl around the old town for the people to come and explore. Yeah. Good excuse for us to go and stuff our faces.
There's always something new in the old town. Every time I go around the corner, there's somebody's opened something else up.
Yeah, that's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know as well as I do in Marbella, the average of a business can be 18 months. Don't do their homework of position. So, you know, it's really important that you look where you're taking a place. Well, check out how the business did before.
The failure rate of opening a restaurant or anything catering-wise is about 90% anyway.
And here, I would say, it goes up the percentage because people don't do the homework. They don't do market research. They don't see where people are going to park. They don't save money for advertising.
Well,
Make the most beautiful place, spend fortunes, and then expect advertising for free forever. Or you get a one-off. Everyone will go give you a once.
It's not an easy game.
It's not an easy game. So please, if you're opening a business, I don't care how beautiful it is, please, please do your due diligence.
And advertise.
And your advising.
Because the big boys advertise, Rolls-Royce, Rolex.
No, they do.
You know,
and as I say, you
Mars,
can expect
Coca-Cola.
free advertising once.
You know.
People will go. But then if you want to be successful, if you're catering to the tourists, make sure you're advertising all the time, non-stop.
Or as Marbella is going now, for the restaurants, they use influencers to advertise.
Yes, those as well.
You
can advertise through influencers.
Get the free dinner and $50, yeah.
But do it. Do something. Let people know you're there. Don't think just because you're in Marbella that they're going to come, because everyone has their favourite haunts, don't we? We all know where we want to go.
Yeah.
So...
Well, the British are very much... The British tourist is well known for getting off the plane, passing two bars and stopping in the third, regardless of its quality, and staying there for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
That's what the British people do.
Exactly. So get in beforehand. For example, my guide Marbella, make sure while they're at home, they can already see it, so you've got them before they come out.
They can see it and book it.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Book it, Dano. I mean, book it, Johnny.
Book it, Dano. Book it, Dano.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in a minute with Johnny, so don't go away.
Zero Hero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Zero Hero.
Welcome to Pico Banús.
Zero Hero, welcome to Hard Rock Hotel Marbella.
And we're back, and here's Johnny. I've always wanted to say that. I don't know if I've ever got around to saying that before when we've collaborated. But that was very cool. Here's Johnny. If you're not American, might not mean anything to you. Well, Johnny will be appearing in lots of different restaurants, bars, hotels, and casinos in Marbella, distributing the new updated lottery, which we will be holding in all Zero Hero venues. We didn't get round to seeing everybody at Christmas because so many venues wanted to participate. But if you go to any place that has one of these stickers in the window, which is a Zero Hero sticker, it means they reward the designated driver. Now, that's an all-year-round initiative. If you go with people who are drinking and you're the designated driver, participating venues of Zero Hero reward you with a free soft drink. But even if you're not the designated driver, all the venues who are participating are offering free drinks, meals. Hard Rock Hotel's offering pool day and cocktails. We've even got some really nice people who are giving cruise little sailing trips to go and see the dolphins, or a cocktail on super yacht Malik's in Puerto Banús. And Johnny, you're going to be distributing all this wonderful goodness, aren't you, darling?
I'll be running around on my motorcycle.
And if people would like to join in the initiative, please do let us know. I mean, the casino in Marbella contacted me to join the initiative, and I thought that was really nice that they liked the idea of encouraging people to be responsible. And I like this new initiative because it's helping promote the participating venues within each other. So, for example, you could have lunch at Ammo Beach, and if you spend more than €20, you get one of our little lottery tickets, and then you register that on the zerohero.es website, and then could be up for winning perhaps a meal in La Scala.
Prizes.
In Ilmiria, and then we've got restaurants in Mijas Pueblo, and in Doña Lola, and in Estepona, and in loads of places. So go online to zerohero.es and check out the participating venues.
And don't forget your breathalyzer.
Right, so if you are the designated driver, when you go to any of the venues, they will probably present you before they give you your free drink with one of these, which is a disposable breathalyzer. And you can just blow into it. It's really easy, much easier than the other ones we used to have. This one now is like a simple tube, Johnny, whereas the other one was a box and you had to blow up a bag, and this one just looks like a little pipe. You take the tops off, blow in it, and then it tells you if you're good to go.
If you're good to go, if you've had a sneaky San Miguel before you arrived.
Yeah, then and you test positive, you won't get your free soft drink.
You won't get your soft drink,
but you will do. So there's two different things going on with the Zero Hero. One is all the time, if you're the designated driver, choose a Zero Hero venue, because why pay if you don't have to? And then even if you're not a designated driver, choose a Zero Hero venue, because you might win a prize.
Exactly, you might win some prizes, boating, eating.
You can participate as well, you know,
drinking.
if you go and you spend. And the staff can also participate in the sense of anyone who spends over 20 euros, even if it's you.
My life already.
We will get independent people to choose the prizes.
Yeah. I've never, you know, in 63 years, I have never won a raffle.
Well, we'll have to make sure that you win. And this one actually is quite easy because we have loads of prizes. Each venue is giving a prize.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice. We have like loads, over 40 venues. There's over 40 prizes to be won.
So there's a chance.
There is a chance. And we will be repeating this continually. So the next draw was just before Easter, and then there'll be one before the summer, and then one after the summer. So loads of reasons to visit our Zero Hero venues. Do you have any near you? Where are you? You're up in the...
I'm up in Monda in the sticks.
So we'll have to get some in the sticks as well.
Well, you could always, we could always try and park some up at the castle.
OK. It'll be nice to be in the castle.
Yeah.
That's where kings are meant to be, in
Mind
their
you,
castle.
but the idea of if you're in the castle, you're meant to be staying there because it is a hotel, but yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
Well, maybe just people go to dine locally.
No, there's plenty of nice restaurants in Alarin, which is not far away.
OK, well, maybe we have to do a trip to Alarin one day. I don't think we've got any in Alarin, so we need to get Alarin joined in.
It's a very nice restaurants up there, actually, thankfully.
Good for you.
Well, there aren't in my village, there aren't really any...
So you actually have to leave Monda to go?
Yeah.
You're very brave living up there.
Why?
The roads going up and down.
Oh, I like living up there with the goats and the chickens.
Yeah, you do like your peace and quiet, don't you?
I do. It is peace and quiet, yeah.
It is. Mind you, after doing all those years in the Golden Mile and with all the golden glitz and glamour...
If I need a bit of sparkiness in my life, I can always sneak down the road. It's only 10 minutes away.
It actually seems a long way away, but it isn't, particularly on a motorbike. So watch out. Johnny Gates, My Guide Marbella, but also volunteering with our Zero Hero initiative to spread the word.
There you go.
You're a good boy. Thank you so much.
Mon plaisir.
Gracias. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed meeting my guests. You can watch recordings of the programme from the rtv.tv website. You can also go to my website, nicoleking.es, for links to the programme, my Marbella Moments column in the Euro Weekly News, and also the Zero Hero website with an ever-increasing list of participating venues. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for more of what's going on in Marbella right now. Bye.
You feel it's gonna go